Hey VC, it's Nate. I'm back from London. I'm back in merry old USA or whatever. Uh, and I've got part two of my digs, or what I found record hunting in England. Kind of a big stack. I just showed a few in my last video. And I found some just fucking amazing stuff. Um, I found this at a flea market uh, at Camden Market. This is Axis Bold as Love. I had a Colombian pressing of this album that was called Jimi Hendrix Experience, and it was not a good player copy because it didn't sound very good. This is actually a pressing from the Bahamas, um, and there is the label. Very cool. Um, like looks very much like the cover itself. Probably my favorite Hendrix album. It's like the most consistent. I mean, the RU Experience is fine, but I don't know. As far as like the band coming into their own, that would seem to be the most my favorite. I found a couple of Clash bootlegs from the White Riot tour in 1977. Um, and that's on like this just some bootleg uh, label. And I went to a store called All Ages Records, which is London's only punk uh, record store. And this here is from the Paris Hippodrome in May of 1981. This has some stuff from London Calling. I also found in that store Fear, the record. This is the Rhino reissue from, I want to say 2009. Um, I was bummed, not bummed because I found it and it sounds terrific, but the label here is kind of fucked up. And I looked underneath it, and they labeled it twice. They put two labels on top of each other. One's bubbling up on top. It doesn't affect the play, but it's kind of a distraction looking at it. But I also got the Undertones, which is really really good. Teenage Kicks, of course, John Peel's favorite song of all time. I was talking in my last video. I found Moondance. I also found a French later pressing of Astral Weeks. Of course, many people contend that this is Van Morrison's best album, and it's a really great. I was really happy to find that. Um, I was in a thrift store. I found Oxfam thrift stores, and they're kind of all over the place. I guess they're like the Goodwill of London, England, or England. I don't know. But I found a first pressing on Stiff Records for like £5 of Ian Dury and the Blockheads. Um, Boots and Panties. This is for his first album, the one with Sex and Drugs and Rock and Roll. I also found a copy of, and these are all, except for the Hendrix record, which was Bahamian. These are all British presses. Pretenders' first album, the one I did not have. Uh, Now I basically have everything I need from the Pretenders. Here I was at another flea market this time on Portobello Road, and I found the Flaming Groovies. This is their first two albums, repressed. Um, like I'm not sure when it came out. Let's see. She might say in here. 76. I think it came out and said this was pressed in '76. It's Teenage Head. Yeah, their first two albums. It's got, of course, High Flying Baby, which was their most notorious single, I guess. And that whole album is great. First one. I found a bunch of Zappa that I didn't have. The Mothers, Fillmore East, June '71. And I found this way cheaper than I have ever seen it in the States. You can't do that on stage anymore, a sampler. This is, of course, printed in England. I was pretty happy about it. It's got stuff from all 6 volumes of... you can't do that on stage anymore. I had all 6 on CD at one point, but then I somehow lost all of my Zappa CDs. I don't know what happened. Somewhere between moves. And I found Zappa at the Antique Theater d'Orange. Théâtre Antique d'Orange en France. I butchered that. And that's from 1980. It's got Pound for a Brown, Cosmic Debris, You Didn't Try to Call Me, Love of My Life, You Are What You Is, Easy Meat, Mud Club, The Meek Shall Inherit Nothing, Joe's Garage, Why Does It Hurt When I Pee, Bobby Brown, Dancing Fool. And this is the lineup with Ike Willis, Ray White, Tommy Mars, Arthur Barrow, and David Loebman on drums. Yeah. I also found this cheaper than I would ever pay for it in the States. And I really hope it doesn't send me down the Radiohead rabbit hole, because other than this, I do not like Radiohead. I like their first album, and that was it. I found a bunch of Bowie, Diamond Dogs, Aladdin Sane. Pretty sure those are both original, as is Pinups, and this has the insert. But Low, I have a copy of Low. I think this is a repress. I wanted to say... one of them was Dutch pressing, but I'm probably wrong. I got another Coltrane record, just a posthumous compilation, Impressions. This nondescript. It's got McCoy Tyner, Jimmy Garrison, Reggie Workman, Elvin Jones. First side is recorded in New York City in 1961. And the second side is from 61 and 62. Here is a repress. I don't know when it's from. It's a stereo copy of The Electric Prunes, I Had Too Much to Dream Last Night. And I forgot to mention it, that Axis Bold as Love is I believe a mono copy, because I listened to it and it didn't have the stereo effects that every other copy of that record I've ever heard has. And I was at a store called Flashback Records. There are 3 of them in London. I went to one of them, and I found in the new arrivals 3 first pressing mono Beatles releases. And they're all, of course, they have the track listing of the English the English pressings. So of course they have more songs than the United States ones. Beatles for Sale, of course, was never made available in the U.S. until the 80s or something like that, like late 70s. And Help, not the soundtrack, but they're all first pressings and within reasonably good shape and pretty good prices. So that was what I found while in London. A couple others here and there, nothing major. But that's it. Yeah, and I'm heading out of town again for about 5 or 6 days. That is going to be strictly beach time. Do a lot of swimming and getting sunburned and eating far too much Dominican food. So, anyway, yeah, thanks for watching.